You are looking at history. For the very first time in the 50 years of Golden West College, they'll be playing a football game right here on campus as we welcome you inside Golden West football field right here on the campus of Golden West College in sunny Huntington Beach as SportsNetUSA.net presents Golden West Rustler football. As this afternoon, the Palomar Comets will take on the Golden West Rustlers in this National Division Southern Conference game. Both of these teams enter today with a record of 1-0 in Southern Conference play. Rashawn Haylock here with you alongside my partner Nathan Percy and our cast of SportsNetUSA.net characters. Of course, it was an epic win last week, coming off one of the biggest wins in recent memory, knocking off the #1 team in Southern California. This Golden West team enters an historic matchup here today against Palomar, and it was a team effort last week. But the play of Zamari Manning, without him, the Rustlers this season just 12 points per game. In the 2 games since he's returned from injury, 20 points per game. Manning has scored in every game, and last week we saw him run it, throw it, and catch it in his return. As for the Palomar Comets, defensively they're anchored by safety Zach Galena, who leads the league in tackles with 10+ per game, and Malavai Taylor, who has a team-high 3 interceptions. 2 of those have gone for 6. They are bright spots on a defense that overall gives up a ton of yards. They're last in the league in yards allowed and next to last in points allowed per game. But they're an opportunistic bunch. 5 touchdowns in their last 5 games. Nathan Percy, this is an historic day, as we mentioned. I think coming off the top, how important is it for these Rustlers to just keep their emotions in check with all the pomp and circumstance going on here?
Oh, absolutely. It's important to stick to the game plan and make sure that they don't allow the fanfare to get into their heads in this one. It is a very, very big moment here. 50 years and finally a football game being played on campus here at Huntington Beach. It's been a long time coming. These players are definitely excited to show off their talents in front of their home crowd here on campus. There's just that pride factor that adds to it when you get a chance to defend your school on campus. But again, there is a game to be played, and you mentioned this Palomar defense is opportunistic. The other thing that intrigues me about this matchup, both of these teams are coming in off last-second wins last week. Quentin Conaway with the game-winning field goal against Saddleback College. And Palomar coming in after a last-second touchdown against Orange Coast College, a 28-27 victory. So both of these teams have plenty of momentum this afternoon.
Last week's hero, Quentin Conaway, will put boot to ball, and we're underway here for the very first time ever in Huntington Beach. The kickoff is taken by Josh Bernard. Bernard comes back near side, a stiff arm at the 20, and a nice special teams tackle there made by Joey Maduena. Palomar we'll start with quarterback Matt Romero, 6'2", 200-pound freshman out of Oceanside. He gray-shirted last year. You talked about that win last week against OCC. It was a 1-point win, 28-27, as they barely were able to get past the Pirates. Romero, 16 of 23, 253 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in the win last week. Comets, of course, will be going left to right here to start this first quarter. They hand it off to Bernard, and Bernard is able to slither his way for a couple. He picks up 2 up to the 28-yard line. On that offensive line, left to right, Justin Saddlemeyer, he's a good one. He anchors that bunch. Chris Alvarez, Joshua Pachette is the center, Javier Turner, and Michael Childress, the right tackle. Bernard got the carry there. The tight end, yes, they run a tight end, Robert Ursua. Outside, you have Terrell Arnold and Lamont Cheney. The slot receiver is Johnny Arzola. Romero will move Bernard from his right to his left, ball in between the hash marks. They hand it off. Bernard tries to find some space, but not going to get anywhere as he runs right into the arms of none other than big number 50 there, Robert Oriano.
Yeah, this defense for Golden West is known for being one of the stronger units in Southern California, especially the front 7. That run defense doesn't give up a whole lot.
Chandler Buck, Oriano, who just made that last stop, Sebastian DiMartini, Jamie Diaz, the front 4, Trevin Kahunanui, Joseph Enda, and Tommy Kramer. Nomar Gain missing his 2nd consecutive week as the pass is complete to the tight end Ursua. He's tattooed by Posey, but it's enough for a first down as he gets it ahead to the 40.
Yeah, big 12-yard gain on third down by the quarterback. Matt Romero, who found Ursua, was able to find a little bit of a hole just past the linebackers, but took a big hit at the end of that play.
The corners, Corey Garcia and J.T. Thomas. The safeties, Manasseh Time and Matthew Posey. They send Bernard in motion. They go empty. Romero going to roll. Delivers that side. Bernard with a nice catch as that one was nearly picked off on the far sideline. Corey Garcia jumped that route there, but he was unable to get to it. It's going to be a pickup of 7 and ahead to the 47-yard line. So Palomar moving here on this opening drive.
Yeah, Garcia is a ball hawk, loves to try to go after and make the interception if he can get there. Took a gamble that time and gave up just a couple of yards after the catch.
We talked about the Rustlers defense. We talked about the Palomar defense in the open. These are two of the more anemic offenses, however, though, in the Southern Conference. Bernard will get the carry again on the left side, and he gets it back to the original line of scrimmage, no gain. And it will remain third, or it brings up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, 3 rushes, 3 yards so far for the running back, Josh Bernard. And again, if they can make Palomar throw the ball and challenge that secondary, which has some talent as well, Golden West could come up with a couple of turnovers here if they can limit what the Comets do on the ground.
Under 12.5 to play in this first quarter. Romero and the Comets on their opening drive of the game. They hand it off. Bernard slips one tackle in the backfield, but gets just one. He needed 3, and the Rustlers look like they're going to be able to force a punt here on this opening drive. That was Kahuna Nui in there on the stop. Check that, Tommy Kramer in there on the stop. And that's a welcome sign for this Golden West defense. Kramer, although he played well last week, missed 1 or 2 more tackles than this coaching staff would have liked, but he gets an opportunity again and for the injured Hunter Margain.
Absolutely. Anytime you get a second chance, you got to take advantage. Good start there by Kramer, but again, that defensive line overpowering the offensive line and getting penetration is what set up that big stop.
So Mari Manning is back to receive this one. He's going to let this go out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
There is a flag down here at the 48-yard line. Might be an offside call against Golden West, so Palomar's offense might get another opportunity here. And it looks like the Golden West defense is going to head back out to the field.
They call that an offside against the Rustlers, so it'll be an automatic first down.
So that'll place the ball at the Golden West 48-yard line. And again, after a big stop like that on your first defensive stand of the game, it's really difficult to keep that momentum up when a penalty allows the drive to continue.
Yeah, it's absolutely not what you want. If you're this Rustler defense, we talked about it though. The nerves playing the very first game here on campus, all the pomp and circumstance that goes with an event like this. They give it to Bernard, and he runs right into Oriano once again. He picks up 1 on the play. We got a lot of things planned for you here today. An historic day in the history of Golden West College. We're going to be joined by school president Wes Bryan later on in this first quarter. Efforting a couple of other interviews, other dignitaries, if you will, with this fine institution as this game goes along. But you will hear from the school president here in this first quarter. Romero checks over with the sideline. As Bernard to his right. Looks this way, and that pass is batted down. It looked like that was Kahuna Nui that got in there and got his big paw on it. And that certainly was Kahuna Nui. And you like to see that there. So Palomar given an extra opportunity, if you will, but not able to do much of anything with it. A 3rd and long that's going to bring up.
Yeah, again, this defensive front so far has come out fired up. And again, you see the penetration they're getting as Kahuna Nui is able to get in the face of Romero and bat that ball away from the intended target.
3rd down and 9. Low snap. That one batted away again. This time it's the big fella in the middle. Number 7, Joe Inda. Inda coming off a spectacular game last week in the big win over Saddleback. He had 12 tackles in that one, 4 of them for loss. This time the big PBU and forces another punt here on this first possession for the Comets. Tapia will come in. This one will be official, however. Manning goes and parks at the 10-yard line. Pressure comes up the middle. Tapia gets it away. And this one is going to take a bounce just inside the 15-yard line. Mark it down at the 4. And enter this Rustler offense. We had a surprise last week. It was Amari Manning who got the start at quarterback. We'll see who they trot out there this week. It's going to be number 14, Adam Vance. Vance spectacular last week, 17 of 27, 177 yards, and a touchdown for the sophomore out of Visalia. It was a total team effort. The defense played tremendous. Offense scored just enough points, and, of course, special teams, a block punt, and Quentin Conway with that game-winning field goal last week. Vance will lead this Rustler offense. He play fake, actually, throws it out to this near side. Actually, it skips. They call it incomplete. He was looking for Sheldon White. On the offensive line, left to right, Desmond Green, Jared Garcia, Kuma Ofaloto, who sung the national anthem prior to us coming on the air here this afternoon, Eric Arona and Chris Alvarez. In the backfield, Desmond Bowden getting his first career start. Gabriel Ford will play, but not in the starting lineup because of a team violation. It's going to be Samuel Flowers, Sheldon White, and Quinn McElfresh. Check that, Darren Sandoval in there at tailback. So it's Sandoval, actually, who gets his first career start. And he's able to get it through the teeth of the defense. He picks up a couple. It's going to be a 3rd down and long for the Comets. Wesley Finoti, Mickey Sega, Nick Zimmerman, and Roger Mann, the front 4. They go to 4-2-5. It's going to be Christian Prince and Brad Dozier, the linebackers. Michael Moore and Dominique Love, the corners. Zach Galena, Malavi Taylor, and Zach Lofting in there in the secondary as well. This one nearly picked off. McElfresh wants a pass interference, not going to get it. Looks like that was Love there on the coverage, and the Rustlers quickly go 3 and out here on their opening possession.
Yeah, Love was coming in to get the defensive effort on McElfresh, but the ball was thrown right to him, and McElfresh ran into him. So pass interference not called because, again, the defender has the right to go after the ball as well, and Vance must have missed him in the coverage there because that was right to the defender. It was in line with the receiver, but right to the defender to start, which was dangerous.
Quentin Conaway standing right at the goal line. And there's going to be a timeout taken by the Rustlers. So a timeout. Golden West, it's their first charge timeout. That gives us an opportunity to let you know that Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you by Miller Toyota of Anaheim, where service and parts is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Located at the 91 and Euclid. On the web at MillerToyotaofAnaheim.com. Miller Toyota of Anaheim supports college sports and education. Not an ideal start for the Rustlers offensively. Kind of falling back into that rut, if you will. Not being able to move the ball. And it obviously small sample size, right?
Absolutely.
But Manning not in the starting lineup, a violation of team rules. He's not on the field. We talked about it at Long Beach, just the struggles with number 4 not on the field, the struggles that this team has offensively. Of course, this could be purely coincidental, but I don't know. If I was one of those analytic guys, and then you would be telling me Manning is the equivalent of the death lineup for this Golden West football team, if you will. Absolutely.
He's definitely a catalyst, and there is it seems to be that there's enough proof to that when you look at the way this offense operates with and without him.
Arzola and Bernard back to receive the punt. This is a high booming kick. Backpedaling as Bernard catches at the 30-yard line, and he's tripped up prior to getting to the 40-yard line. He's going to bring up a 1st down and 10 for the Comets, 9:47. As we bring in our first guest of the afternoon, and it's Golden West School President Wes Bryan. First of all, Wes, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us here today. I like your shirt, by the way. I'm hoping to get one before.
We'll see that you do.
Okay. Hoping to get one before all the festivities are over today. First of all, I just want to get your initial thoughts on this. What an atmosphere.
It's so exciting to see us playing football on our own campus. It's just incredible. And the field looks great. The stands, amazing.
They go with an end around, and here come the Comets inside Rustler territory. That was Isaiah Aguero, a backup running back, lined up in the slot right there, and he's able to get it inside Rustler territory. And let's see where they mark him down at the 35-yard line of the Rustlers.
A big 25-yard gain on the end around. He just got some good blocking on the right side of that line, and from that tight end, Ursua. First big gain of the afternoon for either one of these two teams.
3 wide receivers to the far side. They play fake. They throw it. This one's going to be incomplete as it skips to the intended receiver, Terrell Arnold, on that far sideline. Now, Wes, I know a lot's been made of this. This has been in the works for some time. What was the idea that, or how the idea come about, rather, that, you know what, on our 50th anniversary, we're going to play a game right here on our home campus?
Well, last year we redid this field, and it's a spectacular field. And then the opportunity to do something spectacular, to showcase this team, to showcase the college. The idea was, let's play a home game here.
Low snap for Romero. Throws it over the middle. Caught! Arnold with a nice catch. Teammate with a touchdown-saving tackle at the 10-yard line. A pickup of 25 there, and it's going to bring up a 1st and goal for the Comets. So this drive defensively for the Rustlers not exactly going according to plan either. Couple of big plays, that one by Arnold, and of course the run by Aguero to start this drive. They put Patterson, the tight end, in motion. They hand it off, and this is going to be Samaj Wren. He runs right into a teeth of Rustlers, led by Kahuna Nui. Now, you're Rustler through and through, Wes. Your children went here.
I've been here 38 years.
You've been a professor in the communications department. By the way, how are we communicating
You're
up here?
doing
Are we
a great
doing all
job.
right?
Yes, you are. I wish I had you in my classes.
Well, I'll stop by anytime you guys would like me to. Just how special is this school to you, this campus to you?
It's from the day I walked on this campus, I fell in love with it. I fell with its students. It's just an incredible opportunity. This is such good teaching, good people. It's a great place to be. It's a small college. People can know each other well, and yet it's a big enough college to have a team like this.
Well, Wes, I got to tell you, this is great. This is a great atmosphere. We've been doing Rustler football here on SportsNetUSA.net for the past 8 years now, and never had an opportunity like this. This is awesome to be able to come here to Huntington Beach, right here on campus. Don't have to see those blue and orange colors over there at the school. This one nearly picked off over the middle. Joe Enda hit him right in his hands on 3rd down and goal. Going to bring up 4th down and goal, and this should get interesting, partner, because Patrick Koch, the kicker, could not kick last week. He got injured prior to the game against OCC, so they didn't have him. So it's going to be pretty much kicking by command. Who you see right now is the wide receiver, Johnny Arzola. He's going to handle the field goals and the point after attempts. Tapia, the punter, will hold it. This one from 28. The snap is down, the kick is up, and no good.
Like it was wide right.
Wide right, a little Rustler magic there,
Yes,
huh,
all right.
Mr.
Yes,
President?
we'll take it. We'll take any luck we can have today.
Now, when you envision this whole thing playing out, obviously you got to put the stands in here. You got the big tailgate going on. How is this going according to what you guys have been planning for over the last year or so?
When I stood outside that fence and looked at the distance between the baseball field and this field, I thought there's no way that we're going to have big stands, have that many stands. And when then they threw that truck in here and they assembled these, it was like, wow, this really is a decent-sized stadium, right? And
it is.
And then that scoreboard came in on a truck, and it's like, wow, it was like we hoped for it. But it envisioned itself and unfolded, and it was like, wow, this is really happening. This is first-rate football played on a first-rate place.
Absolutely. Zamari Manning getting the carry there. He's taken down for a loss. You mentioned it, first-rate football here in this crowd. I mean, you got a capacity crowd in here. You might have to start turning some people away, Wes.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure how many more people. That's a good problem to have, obviously. I'll tell you what, I was speaking to Joe Early, the head coach of Palomar, earlier in the week in preparation for this game, and he's a little envious. They're in a similar situation. They played a nearby high school, and he's been trying to get a campus on, or a stadium on campus for so long and trying to play there. He's in his 15th year there as the head coach right now. He's a little envious of what you guys have been able to do here. How can this be something that can be more than just a happy anniversary thing?
Well, with the people I've talked to already today, I mean, people are already hammering. Well, we could have this every year. Let's do something about this. Let's not just have this be a one-day rental. And so I'm sure there'll be some pressure and some consideration. And now that we can see that it works, that's helpful. And so we'll get some momentum, and we'll start a fundraising campaign and try to be able to do this.
It's absolutely working like a charm. 6.5 to play here. Vance, they set up a screen. Here's McElfresh. McElfresh at the 20, makes a man miss. 25-yard line, taken down at the 30. Quinn McElfresh on 3rd and 13. He gets all 13 of them and extends this drive here for the Rustlers. McElfresh came out of nowhere. Actually came out of Brainerd, Minnesota, but he wasn't on the opening day roster. He kind of snuck in here week 2 or week 3, and here he is now making a big 3rd down reception as we approach 6 minutes to play.
You know, one thing you mentioned that Palomar is kind of in that process of saying, well, you know, how can we get this on campus? If you were to give advice to other schools about the planning of this, because I'm sure it was more than just the 1 year of getting the field installed and the stands in, but in terms of the overall planning, what advice would you give for other schools who are looking to do the same thing?
Well, I could say that maybe I was worked as a president because, first of all, was just we had to redo the practice field, and there was some benefits in doing it so that it was sustainable, and so we got some water relief in that way. And so originally it was just we're going to build the practice field here. We'll still use the district stadium. And then the 50th came up, and this is here. So, you know, I don't think somebody came and said, here's the whole plan.
Right.
you know how coaches are, right? They only show you one play at a time, and that's so. But now there'll be people like this, you know, and it does a great thing for the college to have these kinds of events and to have a water polo game going over there as well. It's just a nice day.
Absolutely, the Golden West water polo tournament going on over just a stone's throw away from where we actually see the pool from right here in the booth. Rustlers water polo team entered the day undefeated, 18-0.
We won both of our games today, I believe, as well.
So 20-0 now. I was waiting for someone to give me those. See, look, Wes, right on time.
We won the Long Beach City game, and I had to leave at the half, but we were up 10-1, I think, or 2. So
yeah, that was an early game. That 8:10 a.m.
Yeah, those water polo players are an interesting bunch. I remember in high school knowing that those practices were at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, they put it. They get in. They put the work in.
Yeah.
Our officials are conferring a flag on the play. That last carry was by Gabe Ford for a loss. This one going to be a false start against the Rustlers, says David Bautista. Our white hat, Wes Bryan, the 7th president in school history here at Golden West College, joining us here in this first quarter as we approach 4.5 to play. Have you had an opportunity to speak to any of the players, Coach Mitchell? What's the vibe that you've gotten from them?
I have talked to a few players, and I've talked to Coach, and he's very happy with this team. And Nick Mitchell has made a significant difference in our football team.
I'd say
since he's been here.
I'd say.
And now a new coach as well. So, you know, and he's assembled another group of coaches that really care about these students. You know, they're student athletes, and they help them really understand that there's 2 jobs here. One is to play hard. The other is to study hard.
Holding against the Rustlers going to be declined, brings up a 4th down. I'd say, Coach Mitchell, 2013 best season in school history as they go to the Southern California semifinals. Last season ranked as high as number 3 in the nation. So I'd say, just from the time we started calling games here to where they are now, moving from the American to the National, he's definitely done a great job. And he told me he loves this opportunity to be able to play here. Quentin Conaway to punt this one away. Fair catch going to be called for and made by Arzola. Well, Mr. President, thank you so much for your time and coming to chat with us. You mentioned once a year. I'm a little greedy. We can be, if you want to have us here every week, Mr. President, we will be here each and every week.
All right. Well, we'll start working on next year's contract.
All right. That's Wes Bryan, the school president of Golden West College, joining us here in this first quarter on SportsNetUSA.net. Thank you again. As Rustlers punt that one away, 3:53 to play here. Snap infraction on the offense. We apologize for the momentary pause. Trying to work out our shirt sizes.
Right.
Have you seen these shirts? I don't know if you can see the crowd here in front of us, but pretty rad, man. They got the green and the gold. They got the 50 in the back.
I think the front, they say Gold Rush on them.
Yeah, 50 years. Obviously, this is a historic day. Coming up at the half, we'll talk to Golden West alum Glenn Parker. You don't want to miss that. Here's the pass quickly to the near side. That set up a little bubble screen here for the wide receiver, Cheney. Posey is there to make the stop. JT Thomas there as well as they get just beyond the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Romero 4 of 9 to start here in this first quarter for 50 yards, and each pass that he's completed has gone to a different receiver so far, so he's getting everybody involved. This Palomar team has got to be pretty hungry after driving down into the red zone and failing to convert with any points on their last drive.
Pass deflected, picked off. Corey Garcia, nothing but green. Gold rush, touchdown, Rustlers.
And for a team that didn't have much momentum here in the first quarter from an offensive standpoint, the defense always seems to come through and give them a big boost, and right there it was Garcia undercutting the route to the receiver to the far side, tips it, and then is able to follow it into his own hands and got a big block from one of the offensive linemen on that far side on his way in, but relatively easy return for a touchdown there for the Rustlers.
Answer to a trivia question. Who scored the very first touchdown on the Golden West campus field, as Quentin Conaway kicks that one onto McFadden? Look out. We thought that might be
I was wondering about that.
Good thing the president's not here. We don't have to ask him about that.
Yeah.
For Garcia, that's interception number 2 of the season.
Yeah, that was a big one, too. He knew where the quarterback was going with that football, and he baited him into that throw, it seemed like, and was able to undercut that route relatively easily, get that ball to himself, and take it to the house.
Garcia, remember he had an opportunity. JT Thomas had a golden opportunity last week.
A Golden West opportunity?
Yeah, and Garcia, he's been close a couple of times. That one goes for 32 yards. That also the 3rd defensive touchdown for the Rustlers this season. So they take a 7-0 lead. 3:03 to play here in this first quarter, as the Rustler fans are on their feet here for the kickoff. Conaway puts boot to ball. Does this one reach McFadden? Not quite, but close.
Almost cleared the upright, though.
McFadden is the street you see directly behind the goalposts. plenty of good eateries on that street.
Yes,
I know,
absolutely.
especially if you have a sweet tooth like myself.
Well, that's the other thing too is they can have post-game meals after football games here at Golden West College.
Right here, absolutely.
So many new opportunities open up when you get your on-campus field going.
That's right. Chronic Tacos Bellaterra is right down the street as well. Don't forget, Tuesday, 12:30, it's the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review brought to you by Chronic Tacos Huntington Beach at Bellaterra. Join myself and head coach Nick Mitchell along with a player or coach, depending on how this one shakes out. Last week we had Quentin Conaway, and we had a blast. He was so much fun to have on the show. All the guys have been great so far that we've had on. Here's Romero after that last pick. Pumps. He's going to get, he escapes the sack. Going to roll. He needs to just throw this one away, and he finally does. How he escaped the grasp of the big defensive tackle, KT Iacopo, I have no idea.
Yeah, Iacopo's grip right there.
6'1", 305. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. But, again, Iacopo was starting to fall to the turf, and those hands just kind of slipped on the legs there of Romero. And it takes a special effort to get away from somebody like that. Romero was able to do it, and to boot, he was also able to throw the ball out of bounds to keep from losing yardage. But there is a flag on the play at the 16-yard line. Actually, they'll pick that flag up, it looks like. So great effort there by Romero to save that play and keep it at the original line of scrimmage.
Nick Mitchell, of course, in his 10th season as the head coach of the Rustlers here. Over across the way, Joe Early, his 15th year. He's been a defensive guy his whole life. Now he's coaching the wide receivers in addition to his head coaching duties. His brother, Dan, is the offensive coordinator. So for the first time, they're actually getting to work on the same side of the ball. Here's a pass in and out of the hands out of Arzolo. JT Thomas tried to reach for that one, but it was out of his grasp, and Arzolo normally sure-handed, but he let that one. That's what you don't do. You let it get right into the breadbasket.
Yeah. I think he was thinking that one might be tipped by the defender as well, and so he wasn't expecting it to come in cleanly, which might be why the hands were a little late in getting there.
3rd down and 10. 2:47 left first quarter. Ball on the 25-yard line of Palomar. They're just going to hand this one off on 3rd down. And nothing doing there. That was Samaj Wren getting the carry.
Yeah, see, and that's the benefit of having good run defense, a good front seven. You make this offense one-dimensional, and now all of a sudden you're putting the pressure on the quarterback to make accurate throws, and that defense in the secondary is just waiting for a mistake. Thomas almost got to one. He stopped in the route a little bit too early, but you're seeing the effect of that good run defense so far.
Manning calls for a fair catch at the 34-yard line of the Rustlers, so that's where they'll take over. Has not been much offense for Golden West to speak of in these opening 12 minutes plus. But they have a lead thanks to a Corey Garcia 32-yard pick six. We talked about the defense of Palomar being opportunistic, but how about this Rustler defense here coming up with the pick six, which so far is the difference in this ball game. Gabriel Ford will return to work at tailback. Adam Vance back out there at quarterback. 4 wide receivers, and Manning in the slot near side. They fake it to him on a fly sweep. Vance steps up, looking downfield, has a man, and he overshot him.
And it looked like it was Sheldon White he was going for, and White had a beat on his defender, Zach Galena. But unfortunately, Vance just a little bit too much mustard on that hot dog.
Yeah, and White had a step on him. And these are some opportunities these Rustlers could have throughout the course of the game, these one-on-ones down the field. This is a team that likes to play a lot of guys up, a lot of guys in the box defensively. And also they give up over 280 yards passing per contest, which is last in the Southern Conference. They set up a little bubble screen on the far side, but they get one. Catch made there by Kahari Kilgore. 3rd down and 9 at the 35.
Yeah, it's only the third completed pass for Vance in this one. This offense, as you mentioned, has been a little anemic so far in this first quarter. They haven't had that many plays to speak of. So they still might be getting into rhythm. And like you mentioned, Manning and Ford were not out for the first drive of this ballgame.
Another 3rd and long for the Rustlers, and it's going to be even longer. It's Desmond Green, the big left tackle, moved there. Our officials today: David Bautista's the white hat, Charles Glover the umpire, Ron Maiden the head linesman, the line judge is Tony Shaw, the field judge Jace Carlson, the side judge Michael Sparling, and the back judge Joel Kursdorfer. 3rd and 14. Vance over the middle, Manning with space, shake and bake, and a big boy stiff form at the 40-yard line, out of bounds, just shy of midfield, and enough for a Rustler first down.
They needed 14. They got 15 there thanks to the hard work of Manning. As you mentioned, a stiff arm on Malavai Taylor, and being guarded on the play by Christian Prince on a short route across the middle. Prince slipped a little bit as the ball was coming in, which allowed Manning to get a little extra space for that yardage.
If you're watching last week, as Ford gets the carry, Ford with some space. Gabriel Ford, the kid out of Gadsden, Alabama, out on the outside at the 20. Tiptoes the sideline before he's pushed out of bounds. They actually mark him out at the 23-yard line.
32 yards on that pickup, and again, some great blocking on the right side of that offensive line, and Manning's over there providing some blocking as well, and we know what Gabe Ford can do with limited space. Imagine what he can do with wide open space. He saw a big one right there.
You took the words right out of my mouth, partner. And to continue the previous thought, that stiff arm by Manning, reminiscent of last week when the final drive he had a stiff arm before that late hit, which set up the Conaway touchdown and the game winner. They keep it on the ground. This is Manning in the backfield this time, and he's able to pick up a couple up to the 21-yard line, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. So after 1, Rustlers 7, Palomar nothing, as you're watching Golden West Rustler football right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Rashawn Haylock alongside Nathan Percy, Van Vu providing all the visuals, and Ed Ford doing Ed Ford things, manning the controls. His